What's up, boys? We're back with our MLB stream. This is the first MLB stream we've done in what? When's the
Since
first
the
MLB stream?
playoffs, bro. Since the
Since the playoffs.
playoffs.
So we got a lot to talk about here. We're also trying to be consistent, so we're just pumping content out for you boys. So
Yeah.
tomorrow we're gonna have our playoff predictions. I'd assume.
Yeah, divisional
For
divisional predictions
divisional.
will come out tomorrow. And
So
then yeah.
this is gonna be the first of probably like 5 streams in a row. So I'm looking forward to this one. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, let's get into it. So we're mainly going to be discussing off-season acquisitions. I know a lot of moves have yet to be made, but there's been quite a few already, especially for some of these specific teams, which we'll get into. But to start it off, we're going to talk about Edward Cabrera going to the Chicago Cubs, traded from the Miami Marlins. And since you're a Cubs fan, I'm going to let you take away
Yeah.
first of all. So
Obviously, I mean, I think it's huge. I mean, great trade. The thing that we lacked a lot last year was our pitching, and that's due to injuries and a lot of other things. But um, I think just getting more depth at the pitching position is huge for us. We did trade a young asset in Cassie away, though. So that could be a sign. He was projected to be Kyle Tucker's replacement if Kyle Tucker were to leave. But as of right now, Kyle Tucker still hasn't gone anywhere yet. So I'm intrigued. I think that could be a potential sign that Kyle Tucker is going to be staying another year, which is obviously huge. I mean, that's fantastic. I really want to see that happen. Um, but obviously, I don't know if we're going to be able to pay him as much as he's wanting, considering we just signed Alex Bregman. But definitely love the trade for the pitching attributes. We're getting everyone back off the injured list. And I think this sets up the Cubs for a lot of potential big things this season.
yeah, I totally agree. This was a very underrated move, in my opinion. I thought Edward Cabrera was probably one of the best players in the Marlins, and he was definitely their best pitcher. He was better than Sandy Alcantara, but you got him for a fairly expensive price, but pretty reasonable, in my opinion, considering the Cubs needed pitching desperately. That's what they kind of slowed them on the World
Yeah.
Series last year. So
Mhm.
they didn't have anybody to pitch. I mean, they had a couple of stars, but they didn't have depth. And so
Yeah.
you get depth now with Edward Cabrera. I got his stats pulled up. Let's see. He had a 1.23
What's up,
whip,
chat?
which 1.23 whip is it's all right, but he had a 2.8 WAR, and a 2.8 WAR is pretty solid for a pitcher, in my opinion. I really like that out of him, and he also has a winning record too, 8-7 on the year for the
Yeah,
Marlins,
that's
nevertheless. So
for the Marlins too. That's pretty good.
for me, if you're getting a pitcher with an 8-7 with a winning record on the Marlins, who I mean has a 2.8 WAR, that's a heck of a deal, man. I mean, I don't know. I think he would be their 4. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure with is Shota Imanaga free agent? Is Imanaga
No,
free agent?
I'm pretty sure we picked up his option.
Okay, so I think he would start a 4, but I could easily see him being a 2 in like
I
the
think he
post
should. I think he
into
should be up a
postseason.
little bit higher. Honestly, the way that Shota played in the playoffs last year was disappointing. So
Yeah,
I would definitely
yeah,
move him up a little bit.
yeah. And another thing too is that I expect at least an injury or 2 to this rotation. It just never seems to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Imanaga had something. I don't know what he had.
Yeah,
Matthew
Shota was out
Boyd,
for a while.
Jamison Tyone, like those guys, just to me are never fully healthy. So I mean, now you're looking at a very very complete team on all ends of the board. I mean, maybe a little bit more power in that lineup, but overall for the Cubs, I think that this is the best thing they could have done to their team is adding a pitcher too.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
what's his age? I think he's how old
He's
is
not
he?
he's not crazy
27.
old. And
So
yeah,
that's really young for an
he's
MLB
young.
pitcher.
That's pretty
So
good.
I mean, and he's on a really good contract. So realistically, you could have him for like 5 or 6 more years.
Yeah, which is awesome.
So I really love that move. That was probably my favorite move by any team this offseason. So moving on, we got probably the most interesting one. We got Paul Goldschmidt signing with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the Yankees should have never re-signed the dude. The dude's washed. The dude's old.
Yeah.
He stinks. Let me pull up his stats here. 1 second. Paul Goldschmidt. Let's see. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that everybody expected him to be really good for the Yankees.
Check.
He did.
Yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt did really bad for the Yankees. Obviously, he had a really bad defense. Defense, I mean, is not a strong suit to begin with. And I'm gonna be honest, he got outplayed by Ben Rice. Ben Rice literally took his spot towards the end
Yeah,
of the
Ben Rice did a
postseason.
solid job. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, and so really embarrassing for Paul Goldschmidt, honestly,
Yeah.
considering you were projected to be like a 4 or 5 guy in this Yankees lineup last year, and you barely played towards the end of the season. Now, looking at his stats, I mean, the stats are really bad. I'm not gonna lie. He had a 274 batting average, which I mean is good, but 10 home runs at Yankee Stadium is absolutely pathetic.
That's sheesh.
As a player who was projected every day 10 home runs at Yankee Stadium, that ain't gonna cut it, my man.
That's terrible.
731 OPS. I mean, 750 is considered where you want to be in my opinion. 730, we're getting down to the pretty bad territory.
Yeah.
So this is really interesting for Diamondbacks though, because you honestly need to retool a little bit after you lose Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor. I can't remember if
Yeah.
Naylor played first baseman or what, but I think the Diamondbacks though, if they can get a healthy Paul Goldschmidt and a Paul Goldschmidt who I'm not saying needs to play like his prime St. Louis days, but if he can hit you 20, 25 home runs, I think that the Diamondbacks are easily a playoff team. I mean, they just need to get production out of him and get production out of their pitching, which we might talk about. We might get into another day, but if their pitching can stay healthy of Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, and if they can get some more productive bats outside of Gabriel Perdomo, then I think the Diamondbacks might be a lock for the playoffs. So, what do you have to
Yeah, I
say?
agree, man. I completely agree with everything, bro. I just want to add on that Goldschmidt is washed up, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just not good. Um, completely agreeing that the Yankees should not have re-signed him anyway. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything on that. That's just he's on status. Might be time to
yep.
call it, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not much needs to be said about the guy. I mean, he was
Yeah.
really good for the Cardinals, and then the Yankees was a
Yeah.
disappointment, incredibly. All right, moving on. I'm gonna get this one out of the way because I want to talk about this one for quite a bit here. We got Ranger Suarez going to. Oh, freak! This is bad. Who did he sign with? Red Sox. There it is. Red Sox.
Yeah.
Ranger Suarez signs with the Red Sox. A Cy Young pitcher, one of the best in the business, in my opinion. And the Red Sox, ladies and gentlemen, look like a World Series team to me. Their knock last year for the Red Sox was honestly getting pitching outside of Garrett Crochet. And this
Yeah.
addition,
Crochet is the only one out there.
along with Sonny Gray, the sky's the limit for this team going forward. I don't care you lost Alex Bregman, man. You needed to spend more money towards your rotation, which is what
Yeah.
they figured out. Now they got like three or four dogs in the pitching rotation, man. Suarez, I mean, he was a Cy Young last year. Let's not get it twisted, man. He was 12 and 8 as a starter, which is pretty solid. He had a 3.2 ERA, which is not bad, not great, but I think his WAR was really high too. So I just think, man, that this just puts the Red Sox in their own tier with the Blue Jays at the moment for the AL. I just think that their pitching was the biggest thing that they absolutely needed, and you got 2 guys now. I mean, we'll talk about Sonny Gray, but I mean, this guy's legit good. He led the Phillies for their ace for most of the season. I think. I know that Zach Wheeler had some stuff, but Zach Wheeler didn't do great this year after his injury, especially. They also had Aaron Nola, I think, but I don't know what happened to him. So this guy really proved himself, in my opinion. He honestly, him and Christopher Sanchez were the 2 guys that stepped up big for this Phillies pitching rotation last year, and that's the reason why they made it to the divisional round and made the playoffs. Period. It's because of those 2 guys, Suarez and or Sanchez. So great move for the Red Sox. I'm looking ahead, and this could be my World Series team. I'm just gonna say it, but what do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox were a pretty good team last year. I mean, they like you said, made to the divisional. I had them going to the ALCS, but obviously they just weren't able to get it done because of their pitching. So I think this is a really big, pretty good pickup for Boston to add some depth and add some stardom to their pitching rotation.
Yeah,
Um, and like I agree with you in saying that that it's them and the Blue Jays in the AL as of right now for me because yeah, I'm not seeing any other team that are coming close to them right now.
yeah, definitely. You just look at this AL. I'm trying to think of divisions. What is it? AL East. There it is. You
Yeah,
look
the
at the AL
East.
East. It's literally the most stacked thing I've ever seen with the Orioles getting Pete Alonso. I think we'll have to
Yeah,
talk about that
dude.
too.
I low key forgot about that. That's actually wild.
I mean, the Yankees too are
Yankees are
gonna be
always
good.
good.
The Yankees are always good, and the Tampa Bay Rays are probably my sleeper this year, man. I really like what the Rays got going on. They made some good moves at the deadline this year, and the Rays just have a lot of talent that nobody really talks about. All right, so moving on in the AL East, I want to keep it in the AL East, and we're going to talk about Okamoto signing with the Blue Jays for. Am I seeing this correct? 16 million. Oh,
Holy
60
smokes.
million. 4 years, $60 million for Okamoto. One of the highest sought after players in the Japanese league. I think that's where he played at.
Yeah.
Anyways, this dude is interesting because I don't think he's a game changer for the Blue Jays. I'm gonna be honest. And I really don't know what position he's gonna play. They say he's third baseman, but I would assume that's probably Ernie Clement. I'd imagine that's as your third baseman. And if you get Bo Bichette as your shortstop, man, you really don't have a spot for Okamoto. So I don't see him playing opening day for the Blue Jays, but I mean, as a bench player, in my opinion, Okamoto's probably going to be one of the best bench players in the league. He had some power for the Japanese league. I mean, he had a lot of home runs, and he was just flat out one of the best players in the Japanese league. Now, one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is his bat speed. His bat speed didn't look very fast at the Japanese league, so we'll be interested to see on that. And I don't know how that will translate to the MLB with all these Japanese players. I just don't know I'm gonna get out of him, man. Especially with being on the bench, especially with a little bit lower bat speed. So it'll be interesting, but if he can just find a way to come off the bench and hit, I mean, the Blue Jays, look out. They're going to be amazing, man. He doesn't even have to play defense. Like, I don't really care if he plays defense because they got like 5 Gold Gloves out in the infield of Ernie Clement, Addison Barger, Vladimir Guerrero. Like, they have so many guys that can play defense. So I just think that while it may not make a ton of sense to sign him, in my opinion, it's still really he's still going to make an impact, in my opinion. So
Yeah. Um, what we've learned these last few years, man, is that these Japanese dudes they can ball. All right. So if you're the best player in the Japanese league and you come over to the MLB, chances are you're probably going to be pretty freaking good. So
Yeah.
I like that he signed with the Blue Jays, man. I'm just glad it wasn't the Dodgers, uh, because holy crap, the Dodgers don't need any more players. And
Yeah.
I think this adds some more depth to the Blue Jays team that was inches away from winning the World Series last year. Um, and yeah, I on all the things that you said, just depth. This puts the Blue Jays still high up in my projections for this MLB season.
Yeah, it's really interesting too, because like I don't know where would they'll go if they're infield going looking forward, man. I mean, do you sign Bo Bichette? Do you not? Do you trust Okamoto to play third base for you? I mean, do you
I
slide over
was
Ernie
yeah.
Clement or Addison Barger to second base? One of them's going to be shortstop. I know that, but what do you? My main question is, what do you do with Bo Bichette? And I think we'll have the answer to that pretty soon. But it's going to be really
Yeah.
interesting to see what they do with Bo Bichette because he's definitely up there for one of the best infielders in the game. All right, moving on. I just really like this AL East talk, man. I know we haven't talked about this one yet, which we probably should have talked about a long time ago. It's a little bit late now, but we are going to talk about Pete Alonso heading to the Baltimore Orioles on. Do you know his contract information here?
I don't.
Hold on, let me pull up his Pete
It was quite a bit, wasn't it?
Alonso contract info. No, I don't want his one with the Mets, bro. Okay, you signed a five-year contract worth 155 million. So what that tells you, ladies and gentlemen, is that Baltimore is all in this year. Not much else needs to be said. They brought up Jackson Holiday. They brought up Kobe Mayo. They brought up all these guys from the major leagues not too long ago, all within a few years, just to compete for that AL East title. And I think Pete Alonso is like literally the perfect fit on this Orioles team. He hits home runs. He has a really high OPS, and I mean he's just the best probably hitting first baseman in the league. It's not even he's better than Vlad Guerrero at hitting probably. He's just that good. He was top 5 in MVP voting last year. Not much else needs to be said other than the Orioles had to make a desperate move and get a big guy, and they got one of the biggest guys on the market. So, what do you have to say?
Yeah, this is a huge signing for Baltimore, man. I mean, especially after last year, they were my most disappointing team of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They completely just exceeded my expectations in sucking.
Yeah,
They were pretty bad, and I feel like adding an experienced vet like Pete Alonso is pretty huge for them, to get more runs up on the board when they need them. And he adds just more experience to this young team. And I know he
yeah,
hasn't been to the playoffs a ton of times, but
yeah,
he's still been in these divisional races. So I just feel like his experience will be able to help the Orioles go to the playoffs this year for the first time in about 2 years. So
yeah. Looking at stats now, he has a 144 OPS plus, which like that's like top. It doesn't get much better than that. It's like Aaron Judge numbers, guys. His OPS 871, which is also fantastic. I mean, the guy's just one of the best hitters in the game. He's just good at everything. He doesn't really do anything wrong when he's at the plate. His defense, you're not going to get the best defense out of Pete Alonso, but you don't pay him for defense. You pay him to hit home runs. And I'll be interested where he
yeah,
slots in this lineup. If he's behind Gunner or Atley, if he's ahead of them, as like a 2. But this Orioles lineup definitely needed a really good player, and I think he's already the best
they got
player
a
on the
boost.
Orioles. And that might be a hot take if he's better than Gunner or not, but I think he is. So Pete Alonso is going to
Yeah,
probably change the Orioles this season. That's for sure.
I agree.
All right. Next up, we got Sonny Gray heading to the Boston Red Sox. Now, this is another move, man, that I respected the Red Sox a lot for. I'm pretty sure they traded him for Sonny Gray. Let me pull up Sonny Gray. Yep, Sonny he did get traded to the Red Sox. I know they probably gave up a little bit of their farm system, but the thing with the Red Sox is they can give up all they want. They just have the best farm system in the league. It's not even close. And the Red Sox now have three guys who can go 6 or 7 innings, no pun intended, but I mean they got arguably a top five pitching rotation with this three-headed monster now. So looking at Sonny Gray, he kind of had a rough season with the St. Louis Cardinals. His ERA was obviously low. I don't know. He always has a low ERA ish. His walk rate was pretty high though, and his win loss record was not very good. But that's mainly due to how bad the Cardinals were last year. I'm not going to
Yeah,
blame a
dude,
lot for him.
they sucked last year, bro.
The Cardinals were completely poverty. They, I mean, they got rid of
Yeah, they got
Wilson
rid of
Contreras.
Contreras. Yeah,
They got also to the Red Sox. They got rid of Sonny Gray. They got rid of all these guys because they sucked so bad last year. So that tells you all you need to know about them. And so looking at this Red Sox lineup or pitching rotation, I expect him to be the number two behind Garrett. I expect him to eat probably the most innings on this team. I mean, he usually does. I don't expect him to strike out a ton of people. I expect some high walk rates, but I expect a really low ERA again, which is what the Red Sox really need is just a
yeah,
player with low ERA. So he's not a very flashy pitcher, man, but he's better than what Brian Belieu. Like
yeah.
Sonny Gray is pretty solid. He's not what he was on the Twins with like a 0.9 ERA, but still really good.
Yeah, I mean, Sonny Gray, he's not like you said, he's not the most flashy pitcher around town, but
Yeah,
I mean, he's efficient. He gets the job done when he needs to. Um, but again, more depth to this Red Sox team, uh, to the position that they needed the most. So I can
yeah.
also respect this move, and I just need to make fun of the Cardinals for a second and say you guys suck. So there you go.
Yeah. All right, moving on. This might be our last player. I don't know if I have anybody else in mind at the moment, but we're actually going to the Red Sox again. We've talked about them. This is going to be our third time. But there's a lot to talk about the Red Sox because they've completely changed their team within the last year, ever since trading Devers and getting rid of
Mhm.
Bregman and all this stuff. So we are going to talk about Wilson Contreras also getting traded from the Cardinals to the Red Sox. It's kind of weird to me that the same teams trade twice within like the span of 2 weeks, but
It's a little weird.
nevertheless, Wilson Contreras is a Boston Red Sox. They say he's going to play first base, which I don't know how I feel about that, but I just think that it's going to be really interesting to see what he does for this Boston team because he had a really bad year with the Cardinals last year. Obviously, wasn't what he was with like the Cubs or anything, but in his peak, Wilson Contreras is one of the best hitters in the game.
Yeah, he was an absolute stud.
Really good hitter. I mean, his defense though is what needs to be looked at. His defense is god awful. There's a reason why he got demoted from catchers because he couldn't catch the ball. Like he's just not a good defender at all. And that first baseman, I don't think it'll matter as much, but I'm just interested to see what they do with him with his defensive ability at first base. And I don't know if they'll put him at catcher or not either. They might not, but I don't think he'll be DH either. I can't remember who their DH is,
He
but
definitely shouldn't be the DH, bro. The way he was in last year.
yeah, I know, but a lot of these guys who play DH just can't play defense. So I
Yeah.
think that's his ideal spot. But they already have a guy at DH. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. So, anyways, what you're getting at Wilson Contreras is just a veteran who puts up veteran numbers, who puts up 750, 800 OPS, who hits 20 home runs, and who's not going to strike out. That's what you're getting from Contreras. You're not asking him to be leadoff. You're not asking him to be your 3 and 4. You're asking him to be probably your 6 in your lineup. You have Jaron Duran, you have Roman Anthony, you have Ceddanne Rafaela. You have plenty of guys who can hit on this team. So, and what's really interesting to me, what makes this move really interesting is I do not know what they're going to do with Tristan Casas. I think he's a lot better of a player than Wilson Contreras is, but he can't stay on the field. So I don't know. You're gonna have a little first baseman battle with Contreras
Yeah.
and Tristan Casas, but that's what I'm probably most curious about is to see who gets the first base for the Red Sox and overall who gets the infield for the Red Sox because Bregman's out now. I'd imagine Marcelo Myers playing third. I think Trevor Story's still playing on the Red Sox, which
He's still in
I
the
don't know.
league, dog.
He's still in the league.
That's crazy
I know
work.
he got hurt last year too,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure he's still playing. I have no idea who the Red Sox second baseman is, so I mean, I could be really dumb if it's somebody really good, but I don't know. This Red Sox infield is probably the biggest concern by far for me for this team this season, and you gotta have somebody step up in the infield. So I don't know if Contreras is the guy that steps up in the infield, but we'll see what happens. You need some complementary players on the infield to support Duran and Roman Anthony. So that's all I
Yeah.
got.
I mean, we'll see if Wilson Contreras can turn back the clock and play like the way he did. In Chicago, obviously
Yeah,
he got out of Chicago, so and he went to an arch nemesis. So obviously I don't have great feelings towards him, but like you said, interested to see how he's gonna fit in with the infield, if he's gonna fit in at all. Um, because that's gonna be the X factor for the Red Sox this year, I think.
yeah. And looking at this, okay, so they do have Kristen Campbell as their second base. I know that he's pretty good. Anyways, looking at their lineup now, I mean, he actually does add a lot of depth to his team. I didn't realize this before, but the Red Sox bench didn't look really great. And now, I mean, now you add a ton of depth to that bench, even though it's just one player. And you have five potential starters in the infield and five potential starters in the outfield. So you have a crap ton of positions that you need to fill. And besides Roman Anthony and Jaron Duran, which is your left and right field, I don't know who's getting what spot on this Red Sox roster. I think every single infield position is probably set except for Kristen Campbell since they want to develop him. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And like I said, they solved their pitching rotation. They tried to earlier with getting Jordan Hicks and Kyle Harrison. That didn't really work out from the Giants, but their pitching rotation also has a ton of depth too. So this team's just insanely good at the moment. I mean, if Roman Anthony can be the leader of this team and be what we all thought he was, this team's guaranteed to win the World Series. I think at least.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on. Let's see who else.
Probably got one or two more, I'd say.
Okay, hold on. MLB free agency. If we can't find anybody, we'll just talk about Tucker for a little bit, or not Tucker, uh, Bregman for a little bit more. But let's see who we got. All right, let's talk about. Did we talk about Murakami to the White Sox?
No, it did not.
All right, this is another old one. You can tell how much we've been paying attention to
So,
baseball
yeah.
lately. We just haven't been paying attention to baseball at all. We have to. We probably will make a part two to this eventually once Dylan Cease goes somewhere. Once Kyle Tucker goes somewhere. I mean, we're barely what halfway through the MLB offseason, so there's like 2/3 of the people who haven't signed yet. But nevertheless, we're going to talk about Murakami going to the White Sox. Now, I think this is easily the best thing the White Sox have done in the past 5 to 10 years. You get a guy who is from Japan who was, I think, the most powerful bat in the Japan League. He hit a 100-mile-an-hour home run off of Yamamoto, I think, or is that Okamoto? I don't know. One of those two. One of those two hit a 100-mile fastball off Yamamoto, which, as we know, Yamamoto is the best pitcher in the league. And I think this move gives the White Sox hope. Now, I'm not saying that the White Sox are going to win the AL Central. That'd be pretty stupid of me. But what I will say is that the AL Central is very wide open. It usually is. So
Yeah.
there's a possibility where the White Sox could win around 80 games, which is,
Kind of
I don't know
wild to
how it's
think about.
possible. Yeah, that's really wild to think about. But you look at this White Sox team, you got Murakami. I'd imagine I think he's a third baseman as well. I'm not quite sure. And you got Colson Montgomery at your shortstop, who was your best player on the team last year. And I'm just going to say this: Colson Montgomery is going to be your breakout player in the MLB this year. That guy is insane. He's just a great athlete. He does nothing wrong. So you got two guys now in your lineup who can actually hit a baseball. And the White Sox last year didn't have a person that can hit a baseball. So their pitching too was not great, but you have a couple of guys now. I'm not Your team's not complete now, but it's your infield's looking pretty good. Your infield is looking like one of the better infields in the MLB, which to say something about that like the White Sox is insane. But and similar to Murakami, can compared to Okamoto is his bat speed. All these guys in their bat speed with Japan, I'm kind of worried about, mainly because the MLB velocity compared to the Japan velocity is a lot different. Let's be honest. You don't see a lot of 100-mile-an-hour fastballs in the Japan league, but you see 103 from Paul Skeens like every time he's on the mound. So I think I'm expecting around 25 home runs from him, maybe 30, a little bit above average player. I expect around probably a 775 OPS. So he's going to be probably your second or third best hitter in this White Sox lineup. Which, I mean, you signed him for a long time. Yeah, you only signed him for 1 year, I think. So you signed him for not a really commitment, which is another good thing. So great move by the White Sox. It puts them in the AL Central, and there's a world where I could see them being third or second in the AL Central next year.
Yeah, and it's wild to even just be talking about the White Sox being in contention
Yeah,
for the AL Central,
yeah,
bro. With how the last few years have gone. But I'll say it again: what we found from these Japanese players is that they're pretty freaking nuts. Um, they're pretty dang good. So I'm excited to see what kind of boost he brings to the White Sox organization, which has been pretty much dead for the last couple of years.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm excited to see what that's about. Chat says Nico Horner trade soon. As of right now, I'm hearing no. I'm hearing that the Cubs will be holding on to him more than likely. They've been shutting down um, trade talks with the Giants, who are going after him pretty heavily. So I do not expect Nico Horner to be traded before the season starts. If he has a little bit of a rough patch during the season, I could easily see him being gone by the trade deadline, though. But that's what I
yeah.
got.
That's interesting to me, man, because the Giants are the Giants have a really loaded infield at the moment. They're like a
Yeah,
second baseman away from. making a World Series run, in my opinion. Matt Chapman's the best defensive third baseman in the league. It's not even close. Rafael Nadevers, first baseman for him. He doesn't play defense, but it doesn't matter, man. Rafael Nadevers can hit the ball really freaking well. Let's not forget about Willie Adames too, who
Yeah,
nobody
man.
talks about. But Willie Adames had like 33 home runs last year, and he was their best player on their team last year. So, and with Patrick Bailey's insane defense at the catcher's position, I mean, this Giants team, I don't even care about the outfield of Jung-Hoo Lee or Elliot Ramos. This Giants team is probably a second baseman away from making potentially coming out of the NL West and competing with the Dodgers. So we'll see how that goes. Got anything else you want to say?
No, I think I got everything I need to say for today, bro.
All right. Well, this one was a little bit shorter, but Jack's got to go do something here, so we'll let him to it. But thank you guys for watching. We'll be back with probably the better content with the NFL. That's what everybody seems to be wanting to watch
We
lately.
got a lot
So,
of views on this today, though. I'm not even gonna
did we
lie.
really?
We got a lot
Did
of
we
views.
really?
Yeah.
Hey,
We had 21 people in here at one point.
did we really?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we might have to make more of this, or
We
what?
got to pump out some more MLB content, man. To see spring training starts in a couple weeks, man.
I completely forgot about. So you guys must have liked it. So we'll make another one in like a week or so. Hopefully, Kyle Tucker signed somewhere so we can talk
Yeah, we
about
gotta.
that. But
Yeah.
he's taking his sweet time. So
Yeah.
whatever he does, don't go to the Dodgers. I'll be
Yeah.
happy on that.
Please do not. Yeah.
Don't go to the
Like,
Dodgers, and we're fine. And we also need Cody Bellinger to sign, bro.
yeah, Cody Bellinger got to go
I'm
somewhere,
itching.
dude.
I'm itching for him to
He's got
maybe
to go
resign with
somewhere,
the
man.
Yankees or something. But
Yeah.
anyways, with that, we'll see you boys later. On the road to 200 subs
Yep.
before the Super Bowl, so let's make it happen. So thank you boys for watching. Have a good one. Peace out.
Peace out.